I walked into the hotel and this woman comes up to us. She gets right in my face. And she went, "You must be John." And she went, "This team is effed. This is the most toxic team you are ever going to work with. Good luck."
Who recruited you for Canada? How did that happen?
I'd just come out of the Olympics in 2008 for the New Zealand team. I was sort of headhunted to go into the interview for the 2008 Canadian job. Great story. I turned up to Vancouver and I didn't even have Canadian dollars. I get out of the airport thinking I've got no cash, and I had to get to the hotel in Vancouver. I get on the bus, I say to the driver, "I got no money." I says, "I've come all the way from New Zealand." I says, "Can you help us?" And the guy goes, "Get on." You know, nice Canadian. That's where I learned Canadians are nice people. And I remember being in this hotel for 2 days, and there's Carolina Marachi. And she looked at us, and she did look at us up and down and went, "Are you here for the same thing I am?" And I went, "I think so." She went, "Good luck." And when she did that, I thought, this is it. I'm going to give this my best. I'm going after this. But now the interview, one guy fell asleep in the interview that I had. He was fast asleep at the back, so it wasn't my interview.
It's my pleasure now to introduce Carolina to discuss the future plans for the women's national team. Carolina?
I'm very excited that this is my first game for Canada. I think that we can improve our team.
The 6th FIFA Women's World Cup kicks off.
Plenty at stake, everything to play for. That's a fantastic header, 3-0 to France. France are through to the quarterfinals, a comprehensive victory over Canada.
I was with that team in 2011, the Carolina coach.
Goodness, yeah.
Finished dead last in the World Cup. Were as broken emotionally as any team you'll ever see. Their own coach had basically quit on them halfway through the tournament.
I got the call from Peter to say, "Look, Carolina's no longer with us. We'd love you to come in for an interview." This time I was ready. So I turn up in Kansas for our first game against the US. Now I walked into the hotel and this woman comes up to us. She gets right in my face and she went, "You must be John." I went, Yeah, I'm John." And she went, "This team is effed. This is the most toxic team you are ever going to work with. Good luck." And I thought, wow, what an opportunity this is. Like, I was rubbing my hands going, like, one, I've never been spoken to that aggressively. Like, in my coaching career, where someone's like right in front of your face, but I could sense the trauma that she'd suffered. So my first meeting, oh my God, it was brilliant. I rock in and we're going to go to a podium and I'm watching them looking around going, "Who's this guy? We're going to see your flag rise. It's going to happen." And when I said it about the third time, I think they went, "Oh God, this guy means business." And then I opened it all up. I just started opening all the toxic rubbish in 45, 50 minutes we had together. It just all started flooding out. There was tears, there was a little bit of arguing, and they'd never done that. Never been allowed to do that before. So that first meeting was a killer, and then, you know, I think a killer in that it killed a lot of what was there. Just get yourself focused, put your attention where that needs to be, because I'm hoping it's going to come alive today. You girls, your first mindset's transition. Can I organise my own then can I organise the stuff in front of us?
The timeline's crazy, to be honest, from where they were to where they wound up.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was pretty memorable. Like, a lot of things changed in London, didn't they?
I still say if the US game never happened, it would never be the same. That was the defining moment.
Over the last decade or so, many of these players have experienced time and time again that losing feeling against the United States, but the Canadians have shown over the last few games that they are not going to go down without a fight.
They're playing the best football that they ever have under John Herdman's time.
You've seen a Canadian team show greatness in that moment.
It's a hat-trick for Christine Sinclair! An incredible story for Canada. They lead against the United States.
We know we deserve to have come away with the result that game. What we give was a group of women that overperformed through their love for each other, their trust, the chemistry that had been built, and then the belief. And that's what Canadians were falling in love with, like this underdog group. And then the last kick of the game, literally the last kick, Alex Morgan scores the winner.
A brave effort falls short for Canada. The United States into the gold medal game.
There were questions asked of this team and their character after last year's World Cup performance. They've answered those questions and then some.
The connection we built with that team and the healing that they went through and them learning that they can take ownership of their destiny. I still say there was 9 months, my favourite 9 months in coaching.
At the Women's World Cup in Germany, Canada lost every game and came home embarrassed. John Herdman completely changed the direction of this program. What a fantastic performance by a group of players who have given everything for their country.
Proving people wrong in your life has been occasionally been a motivator for you, correct?
Absolutely.
One of the times, John, when I think I saw that come out with you, maybe publicly a little bit, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm trying to remember which match it was during the 2015, the home World Cup.
The Netherlands.
Canada scored, and you kind of turned to the stands and gave it a little, a little bit of this, right? Gave it the fist, and I thought that spark, wherever it comes from, could be a positive thing too.
What I learned in 2015, that was probably the biggest aha moment in my life. The women's game was starting to become the most important thing in Canada at that moment. It was a home World Cup. And a lot of the stories were built around Herdman. What happened is, I'm getting asked to do these stories, and then it was like the Herdman effect and all of these things where you believe in your own hype. I made mistakes. I made big mistakes. I welcomed it in too much. I wanted to be, a bit of a star in there, I had my tight shirts on. I was getting killed for that, And I realized it became too much about me, if I'm being honest. I fell into that trap. And I think you have to go through this as a human being to go, well, how do you respond in these moments? I learned a lot.
Canadian Soccer Association announced that Octavio Zambrano was out as the men's national team head coach, replaced by, wait for it, John Herdman.
Herdman leaves the women's program for the men's.
John Herdman led the women's team to 2 Olympic bronze medals, you might remember. This will be his first coaching job of a men's team.
If the opportunity to men hadn't presented itself when it did, would you have stuck with the women through, Tokyo?
No, I was in England. I was gone.
You were gone, right?
Yeah, I was gone. I felt after 2016, if anyone had seen the vision board that we created, we said we would back-to-back podium. We said we would capture the hearts and minds of Canada. We said we'd become the #1 team sport in Canada. We said we would be the top 4 ranked team, consistent. We said we would leave a nationally aligned player development system. So I'd ticked 80% of the boxes in a 4.5-year period. I was at that point where I've been here 7 years. I'm still with the same group. We've got a talented pool. It can go on without me. The bit that I can add is the X factor, the innovation. And I didn't feel the finances were there to take us from a #4 team in the world to #1. The money hadn't changed. Not my money. I don't give a damn about what my salary is. It's never motivated us. Ask my wife. She'd tell you. I don't even know half the time what's coming into the house. And what had been happening in the background, the England job had been up, and I hadn't applied for it. Wasn't interested in it. And someone had reached out, this headhunting firm, and said, we haven't seen your application in. We thought we might see you being an Englishman and all this stuff. Within 2 weeks, I'm off to the Norway game. We were 2-0 down in that Norway game. I knew that was my last game. I'd accepted the England job. And I was heading back home. And that was it. That was me done. I was, in my mind, I was on the aeroplane. And it was Peter Montopoli who had a great conversation with us and said, you're not finished here.